Hey, what's up guys? This is Tom here, and today I'm going to be explaining the numbering system behind the mobile phone Qualcomm Snapdragon chipsets and some details of what makes them different from each other. Nearly every current smartphone available has a Snapdragon chip powering it, with the main exceptions being Samsung's Exynos lineup, Huawei's Kirin chipset, and Apple's own processor made for iPhones. The type of processor used is normally one of the key specs talked about when phones are being advertised, and the Snapdragon chip models can be differentiated by the three numbers attached to the chip model. But what do these numbers actually mean? This video will try to talk about which chips are the most powerful, what is the best value, and what is meant by each of the digits in the chip models. The first digit of the Snapdragon processors that categorizes all the chips into distinct families is probably the most important number for consumers to understand when buying a smartphone. At the time this video is being made, there are 5 different families of processor. They are the 200, 400, 600, 700, and 800 series. The 200 series are the most basic mobile chipsets available from Qualcomm and are used on extremely budget phones, but their very simple and low-power chip can offer great battery life and are seen on phones like the LG K8. The 400 series chipsets can normally be found on budget phones or low-level mid-priced phones like the Samsung Galaxy J2. Snapdragon 600 chips are used for the majority of mid-priced smartphones available and are found in phones like the Oppo R15 Pro. The 700 series is where we can start to see some of Qualcomm's more modern and powerful chips that are in very high quality flagship killers like the Xiaomi Mi Note 10. The 800 series are the most premium processors currently available from Qualcomm and are used for the best and fastest flagships around, like the Google Pixel 4. Only 1 or 2 models are released each year in the 800 family, and Qualcomm always ensures the chips use the most cutting-edge technology available at the time. One separating factor between families is that the 200 series processors utilize quad-core CPU processors in their chipsets. This means that the chipset has 4 distinct processing cores that can complete instructions simultaneously. All other Snapdragon chipsets available offer octa-core processors. Contrary to popular belief, having an octa-core processor does not create twice as much power as a quad-core processor, but instead features both a high-power and a low-power core processor. By doing this, the octa-core chipsets can solve intense computational instructions faster by using its high-power quad-core processor, but can still be very power efficient by using the low-power processor for simpler instructions. The newest models in the 800 series also support 5G technology. The second and third digits of the Snapdragon chip models are significantly less important to chipset specs, but can provide some insight as to which ones are better and newer. In the majority of cases, each new chipset released by Qualcomm into a certain family of processors uses a bigger number than the one released before it, creating a simple system where bigger numbers mean better processors. But in quite a few cases, Qualcomm has made the numbering confusing for consumers. There have been cases where an older chipset has been renamed to have a higher number than a newer and faster chipset, without any upgrades coming to the old chipset. This makes it important to check which chip was released more recently when comparing Snapdragon models. It's also possible for a processor in a lower quality and lower numbered family to contain an equal or even better specs than a processor in a more premium family. With this in mind, checking the total CPU clock speed of processors can also be useful to determining which is better rather than just considering the number of the model. In the case of the Snapdragon 730 chip, a slightly altered version has been made called the Snapdragon 730G. This revised model has been optimized by Qualcomm for gaming, and even though none of the hardware specs have been altered, Qualcomm is claiming a big boost in graphics rendering as well as other improvements. The main way they have achieved this is by overclocking the GPU. Overclocking, put simply, is when the processor runs at a higher speed than what it was originally set to run at. Because the processors are often designed to be able to handle higher speeds than what they are used at, overclocking the CPU or GPU to work faster is completely safe as long as the correct measures are taken to stop long-term damage, such as overheating, slowly destroying components. Because Qualcomm have made sure no issues will occur, they've claimed that the gaming chip will provide 15% faster graphics rendering than the original 730, which is a significant improvement. I hope this information can be helpful to you guys when looking at phone specs in the future. If you found this video useful, then be sure to smash that like button. Hit subscribe and smash the bell if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.